He's calm, grounded, steady. He listens more than he speaks. He doesn't react. He reflects. He doesn't argue. He observes. He's the kind of man women say they want, until they don't. What many don't realize is that the patient man isn't made of stone. He feels. He hurts. He remembers. But he holds it in because he was taught strength meant silence. That being a good man meant staying calm even when you're being torn apart slowly. But over time, something changes. When a man has to repeat himself to be heard, when he suppresses his needs just to keep the peace, when his boundaries are tested, disrespected, or laughed off, he begins to transform, not because he's weak, but because he's human. And no man, no matter how stoic, can endure the quiet erosion of his respect without eventually snapping. At first, he stays quiet. He gives the benefit of the doubt. He thinks, maybe she didn't mean it that way. But when it keeps happening, when the dismissive comments become the norm, when sarcasm replaces sincerity, when her tone carries more contempt than care, he starts to withdraw. Not because he's cold, but because he's calculating whether this is still worth it. See, a patient man doesn't yell. He distances. He doesn't insult. He loses interest. And the saddest part is, by the time she realizes he's changed, he's already emotionally packed his bags. The transformation is rarely loud. There's no explosion, no shouting match, just silence. A different kind of silence, the kind that's cold, final, detached, because for the longest time he tried. He swallowed his pride, bent his standards, tolerated what he shouldn't, all because he loved her, because he believed in her, because he thought she would see his effort and match it. But when his kindness was met with complacency, when his patience was mistaken for weakness, when his silence was interpreted as indifference, he realized she never valued his strength, only his usefulness. And once a man sees that, everything changes. The shift isn't just emotional, it's spiritual. He starts to reevaluate himself. He asks, why did I allow this? What part of me needed her validation so badly? When did I start betraying myself just to keep someone else comfortable? And when those questions hit, something powerful is born. Not anger, not bitterness, but clarity. He stops blaming her. He stops explaining himself. He stops chasing closure, because real strength isn't about getting even. It's about getting free, but let's not confuse things. Yes, some women do this intentionally, testing limits to see how far they can push. But many don't even realize they're doing it. It's subtle. It's learned behavior. Interrupting him mid-sentence, telling him to man up when he's vulnerable, rolling her eyes when he expresses a concern, withholding affection as punishment, turning serious conversations into jokes. These aren't just annoying habits. They're silent forms of disrespect that chip away at a man's dignity. And when a good man feels disrespected over and over, he either walks away or becomes someone he doesn't recognize. Some say if he really loved her, he would stay and fix it. But here's the truth. A man can love deeply and still choose peace over pain. He can care and still walk away. He can forgive and still never return, because love should never cost a man his self-respect. Patient men don't become angry overnight. They become angry when their emotional labor is ignored, when their effort is expected, not appreciated, when being the bigger person turns into being the only person who's trying. It's not that he wanted to change, it's that the relationship forced him to. And sometimes that anger you see isn't really anger, it's grief. Grief for the version of himself he lost trying to love her. Grief for the conversations that went nowhere. Grief for the slow death of intimacy that no one acknowledged. So when he finally raises his voice, it's not to scare her, it's to finally be heard. When he stops texting, it's not because he doesn't care, it's because he's done begging for crumbs. When he stops arguing, it's not peace, it's resignation. And the moment a man reaches that level of emotional exhaustion, there's no coming back. To the women listening, if you've got a patient man, cherish him. He won't ask for much, but what he does ask for, respect, loyalty, peace, it matters more to him than you'll ever know. Don't wait until he's gone to realize his silence was a warning, not apathy. His distance was a message, not coldness. And if he's still here, if he's still trying, don't take it for granted. Because even the calmest waters have depth. And once disturbed too many times, even they can turn into storms. To the men watching, if you feel this, if you've been biting your tongue for too long, sacrificing too much, losing yourself just to keep someone else comfortable, it's time to wake up. Being patient is strength, but letting someone disrespect you repeatedly isn't noble. It's self-abandonment. You can love someone and still have boundaries. You can forgive someone and still walk away. You can be kind and still demand respect. Let go of the belief that being silent makes you stronger. Sometimes, the bravest thing a man can do is speak, walk away, and never look back. The world doesn't need more angry men. It needs more men who love themselves enough to walk away before that anger takes root. Be the man who knows his value, who doesn't need to yell to be heard, who doesn't lose himself to prove his love, who stays calm, not because he's weak, but because he's done. Stay grounded, stay quiet, stay powerful. The Stoic Wolf.